Staying with us, so are South African prisons rehabilitating or hardening offenders? One of them who has been rehabilitated is Delisa Bhembe. He was arrested and sentenced to 7 years for robbery in a maximum security facility. Bhembe is now the founder of Delisa Bhem restaurant and is with me now on set to talk more about his journey so far. Delisa, very good afternoon. Well, good morning, in fact. Thank you for coming in. We'll get to the rehabilitation and the state of our correctional facilities in a moment, but I want to go to the genesis of your story. So you were involved in crime, eventually you end up in a prison, and now you're in business. How did it all play out?
Well, I must say, me being in prison was actually a blessing in disguise. Because if I didn't go to prison, there would be a Delisa Bhem restaurant. And you see, when we grew up whereby we had role models who were not actually good. So we actually didn't have a good story to tell. Because each time you go out, you wanted to be like whoever. You wanted to drive fancy cars while you were not working. So I ended up in prison whereby life was tough. And then I learned all the cooking inside there. I stayed about, actually I was sentenced to 25 years. And then the appeal took 10 years, and then I was left with 15 years. And then I went on to work at the main kitchen. From the main kitchen, I worked at the prison restaurant they called Mess. That's where I learned all the cooking and stuff. So when I went out, I decided, no, I want to open my own restaurant. Because when I got out, I see that people were eating like old style, you know, the kota, we call it kota, ekasi. So people were eating those things. And then I said, no, man, I have a good idea. I want to close those gaps. I want to mix a township life with a suburban life. So I started introducing this type of food, which is kota, but toasted, something that you can find.
So a different spin on it.
Yeah.
And what was it about cooking in particular that drew you in during your time in a correctional facility? Because I know there are various programs that you can take up so that when you are released, you are able to eke out some sort of living.
Even cooking, I didn't actually go there wanting to cook. It was one of the things that was opened. Because in prison, you must know, you don't choose where you want to work. The authorities will tell you you must go work there and then. Cooking was never my thing. So I just find myself cooking.
And when you came out, did you find that people were open to you coming back and trying to start a new life with this restaurant, or were you still very much judged for the crime that landed you behind bars?
Fortunately, people never judged me. They actually welcomed me with warm hands. Because like I'm saying, doing crime, I was never a criminal as such. I was an A student. It's just that I followed the wrong crowd and stuff. So that's how I ended up being in crime, doing crime and stuff. So when I went out, people welcomed me, and then they said, no, it's fine. You can, you're welcome to the community. But one other thing, I tried looking for a job. You know, funny because the government will tell you they are rehabilitating us in prisons. But once you are outside, they can't offer you a work. They will tell you have a criminal record. So I decided, no, let me open my own restaurant, which was welcomed with warm hands.
How long have you been out now?
Since 2007, December. And then I started my business. I started my business 2008, November. Yes.
And in that time, what is the one thing that you would describe as the biggest challenge that you had to overcome in this journey as a businessman?
Funding. Funding is, you can't just find money. People won't lend you money. People won't trust the new thing. They want to, you see, when I first started this thing, people were discouraging me. They said, no, you can't start this kind of a business because no one has done it before. So they wanted me to do something which was already in there. So I took my chance, I took my risk, because as an entrepreneur, you know, as an entrepreneur, you are a risk taker. So I must say it has been a long and hard journey. Yeah, and then, but my father is the one who funded me to start my business up until he passed away.
Okay, and I'm hoping that we can show you, because Delisa has brought in some of the sandwiches. I'm tempted to go straight in, but I'm told to keep it professional for just a while longer. Delisa, what are the plans then from here? I mean, you've been doing this for a while with the help of your late father, and now it's eventually started picking up. Where do you want to go next?
Okay, next, I would like to open some branches, not actually, what you call this. I want to open branches all over South Africa, because I must say the support I get from my township and the surrounding township is overwhelming. So if I can just open more branches and so way to, you see,
okay,
that's my goal right now.
All right, Delisa, Bhem, thank you so much for your time.